everybody. I am Pastor Sammie, founder of Love Freedom Movement, and I am incredibly excited to release our new project called The Healing Room LA, The Healing Room LA. And today we have our first featured guest. He's a writer, he's a motivational speaker, he's a model, probably among many other things. He's an actor and now present on BET Plus, Tyler Perry, Bruh. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome none other than Monti Washington.
Yeah,
What
hey,
is
what's up?
going
What's
on,
up?
sir?
Nah, man, good. Just surviving the apocalypse. That's all.
Talk about it.
Mhm.
It's very we're living in some very interesting times today,
For sure.
and many of us are and it's I say for Black people, this is nothing new.
hmm
We've been living in this tension every day. What is happening is a lot of it is coming to the forefront, and we're having um, to really face some realities again over and over. Um, and it's about how we're going to move forward and how we're going to shape history. I think it is right now. Um, but before I dive into that conversation, first of all, as I begin to read about you, I didn't even realize you were a foster child. You moved a
hmm
lot growing up. Uh, how do you think, or what do you think about that in terms of your thinking process and how you saw the world by moving around so much and maybe not living in a space that maybe was consistent or routine?
Well, it's just made me very flexible with life. It made me very understanding of other people's points of views and culture and living, which is why I dive into acting, and which is why I'm pretty good at acting, because I'm able to step in other people's shoes. Because when you
Mm,
grow up in an environment, you know, oftentimes we live in a bubble, right?
mm,
You're seeing right now with the world. We can be looking at two different things, but a white experience, the exact same thing we're experiencing, is a completely different perspective and an experience
right.
on its own. Just like taking it outside of the context of race, just people in general. I grew up, I mean, I slept in the streets, I slept in parks, I slept in crack houses, I was in multiple foster homes. I lived in group homes in white suburbia in Phoenix, Arizona. I lived in a hood where it was majority Black or Mexican. So I got a lot. And it's made me flexible in my art. It's made me understanding of other people's plight. And it's allowed me to come to this conclusion that we don't look like our story. I have it on my shirt now. We don't look like our story
Mm,
because we're greater than our story. But everybody has this idea. There's this widely held belief that our experiences and our stories form us, right? Our
right.
experiences and our stories form who we're going to become. And through my
Right.
experience, I've challenged that. I don't believe that anymore. They don't form you, they inform you. So
Mm,
wrap your head around that. Everything you've experienced, every aspect of your story, it wasn't to form you into a certain way, it was to inform you. I went through poverty to be informed about what that looks like, what that feels like. I've been abused in foster homes and hospitalized, so I was informed of what abuse feels like, what abandonment feels like, what pain feels like. Not to be formed by it, but to be informed by pain, so I know what not to inflict on somebody else. Every
yeah.
failure, every failure you experience in life, it's not to form you into a failure of a person. It's to teach you the lessons that failure provides. And so by growing up in those harsh conditions that I've done, my philosophy and belief system on life has been expanded tremendously. And I come in contact with a lot of people of all races and, socioeconomic status, sexual orientations, gender affiliations, all of that. And so many of us have a very limited belief because our world, most of us grow up in a neighborhood where the majority of people look like us, share our same beliefs, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And if you don't get
Yeah.
out of that box or that bubble, you have no other perspective. Only through
Right.
traveling and interacting and actively listening from other people's perspective and about other people's experiences can you get that information that doesn't form you, but informs you so you can be a more complete human being, if you would.
Yeah, I completely know what you're saying because one of the things that I talked about a couple of weeks ago is that we build so many layers of communication that we sometimes don't build enough layers of listening
Yeah,
to what people
yeah.
are actually saying. And sometimes that is the reason why you can give an entire speech and somebody come back and ask you like, what did you say? You was not, you
Yeah.
wasn't listening. So you're so right. Form and inform. I love that. I love that. So,
Mhm.
so tell me, what was the significant moment, or what was that time that changed or became the shift for you to
Mhm.
take your story, to take your narrative and use the negative in a positive way to form your information that you can charge the world in the way that you do today?
Honestly, it's a lot. I'm not a believer in there's been one significant moment. Even as an actor on TV shows and on movies,
Yeah.
there's always that one thing that changed somebody's life. I don't think it's a
Yeah.
moment. I think it's a series of moments. I think
Mm,
when you get to a level to where you're ready for change, people know
mm,
what to do, but it takes forcing or a dramatic life experience that makes them look at their life and look at themselves honestly and
yeah.
develop real self-awareness. So growing
Right.
up in the hood, it was like we used to sleep in parks. And as a kid, it started to set like, hold up. At first, it was fun because my mom and her boyfriend would make it seem like, oh, we're spending it at the park and you're a kid, you're gullible. It's like, oh, that's like camping, right? But then I'm like, hold up, why are my friends who I just played at the park with going in a house and they get to eat and I'm eating out of the trash can, right? What is that? Or why am I in these group homes and these foster homes and I'm getting abused? This isn't right. And then I have a belief you can't have what you can't see. So you have to see something different and you have to be exposed to something in order to really believe that you can have it. And being in some of those group homes in the suburbs and seeing how other people live, particularly white people live, and in my last foster home, like affluent, successful black folks, right, in a big house, it's like I didn't see that growing up.
Wow.
So it wasn't until I got in my teens and about high school, I got in my last foster home. I was in 3 foster homes. The first 2 abused me, one hospitalized me, one locked me in a room for 23 hours a day for nearly 3 months. Right. The last one, it wasn't like that. It was my first
Locked you in
experience
a room for
for
23
23
hours.
hours a day for nearly 3 months. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's a whole nother experience, right? So because of that, I developed suicidal tendencies, and I had confidence issues for many years later until I got therapy and counseling. But my last foster home, once I saw, wow, black folks can have a house, they can have 2 vehicles, they can have the lights on, no roaches anywhere, there's food in the refrigerator. It started to, those are those moments where it's like, oh, you can have this. Because where I was from, the bar was so low that to have a
Mm,
big 6-bedroom house in a nice area, that wasn't really obtainable. And then going to college, particularly at HBCU, leaving Phoenix, going to Ohio, going somewhere new, just all those, that culmination of all those experiences is like, yo, and now it's made me hungry to have those experiences, to have
yeah.
experiences with different people, different cultures and races and gender affiliation and all these different things. All that formed me into now. So I'm much more of a complete human being than I was because of these experiences.
Yeah. Yeah. When I hear you speak, I hear the passion.
Mm-hmm.
I hear the story. I hear the drive, very clearly
Mm-hmm.
through what you're saying. And today, when a person comes into the presence of Monty, when a person is around you, be it anyone, what
Right.
what do you want them to take away, or what do you want them to experience in the presence of Monty Washington?
Well, in the presence of me, be yourself. If anything, um, take up as much space as your existence will allow. That's something I say to a lot of people. Take up as much space as your existence will allow. And there's space on this earth for everybody to exist. And it depends on how you occupy that space. It depends on you. So one thing I love people who are themselves. I have some friends who are assholes. I'm gonna be honest. Like I'm just like, but lovable, lovable assholes, right? But I have some friends like that, but they're always true to themselves. So I respect you. So I know where I'm at with you. I know how to interact with you. Same thing with anybody else. Like, so if you're in the presence of me personally, like I want you to be utterly yourself. Show me who you really are, because I'm definitely gonna show you who I am. It ain't gonna be no filter. I'm gonna give you the honest, true me. And I love
Yeah.
that when I see people, even if they have a lifestyle that I don't agree with or I don't understand, if you're upfront and honest and you're comfortable with yourself, because there's so many people who don't know who they are, or they're hiding where they are, or they wear masks or filters. When I encounter people who are truly themselves, it's invigorating for me. And I encourage people around me. If you're around me, you're not gonna feel bad. If you're around me, negative self-talk, that ain't happening. If you're around me,
Right.
the
Right.
lying, the fronting, I'll call that out in a heartbeat. If you're around
Yeah.
me, be yourself. Don't worry about me judging you. I'm gonna judge you by your actions, with other
Right, right, right,
people, with me and
right.
yourself. I don't care what you do. Just be upfront and honest. So when people around me, I hope they feel like they're comfortable enough to be their true selves.
Man, I love that whole take up space, take up as much space. I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. Um, I can also hear that you're a teacher. So,
Well, motivational speaker, lecturer. I'm a teacher by nature, having two younger brothers and having to play the daddy role early on, and then just I love seeing people win. So whether that's directing, whether that's being on set with somebody, whether that's in front of the audience, so it's just I'm always a student. Every person
yeah,
you meet is a teacher, and every environment is a classroom. So I'm always ready for that. So I'm always learning something from my experiences, dealing with other people, and etc. So in a way, I guess you can say I'm a teacher.
yeah,
So I read a lot. I'm all about growth, and a lot
right,
of people unfortunately
right,
aren't. So I try to,
yeah.
just open people's eyes, so they can reach their highest potential within themselves.
Yeah, living in the tension of the moment that we're living in today, particularly you as a black man, me as a black man.
Yeah.
Where are you spiritually? Where are you mentally? Where are you?
Oh, I'm
With,
good now. I'm not gonna lie. A couple of weeks ago, I was struggling. A couple of weeks ago, I was
mhm,
struggling because I know what's going on, both through personal experience, both through being educated, through research. Like I know, and it's been
yeah,
going on. And in the midst of all this happening, on top of the pandemic, right? So we're already
yeah,
dealing with this worldwide traumatic experience. This is
yeah,
no way have we all been connected in the world
yeah,
through an experience. And like
yeah,
always, it's always through a negative one, right? And then on top of this, it's like all the stuff that's happening to black folks and continues to happen. And
yeah,
on one hand, I feel great because I remember 4 or 5 years ago when Black Lives Matter and with Ferguson, it was only black folks out here. It wasn't a
yeah,
worldwide thing. Now you're seeing when I go to these rallies and I watch these rallies, there's just as many white folks and other people. They care.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
listening. And that's heartwarming. You see around the world, 18 or 20 different countries having 40,000, 16,000 people. It is encouraging.
yeah,
But as a
yeah,
black man, I've had to implement certain restrictions on my exposure to everything
mm,
because
mm,
I am
mm,
empathetic. And even if I saw this happening to somebody who wasn't black, I would feel the same way. But it's an even deeper pain and a deeper connection because it is us and it's consistently us. So it took a toll on my mental health to where last week I had to go away. I left LA, went up to Santa Barbara with my lady for a few days and got offline just to
just
reset,
to breathe.
and
Yeah,
I need it. So now I have rules where I'm not allowed on social media first hour or two in the morning. I can't be on social media last hour at night. And on the weekends, particularly Sundays, there's no social media Sundays, just to make sure I don't get overexposed because there's a lot of trauma. So me spiritually, I'm good now. I found my balance to where when I start feeling that it's getting too much, to step away for a little bit, even if it's just for a day, and then get back and fight the good fight. So it was tough. Now it's just a fight. It's a battle. And it's just like, I signed up for this because of my skin color, because I care
yeah,
for my people.
yeah,
So it's like you're going to war to protect yourself, your very life. And it's just, I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? My faith, my spirituality, my mentality, my physicality, everything. I'm ready to fight this fight for the betterment of us. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So I'm in a position now where I'm ready, but I do have to consciously and consistently step away, not digest all this stuff because I'm tired of seeing us die. I'm tired of all this stuff. And then expose myself to some of the good things that are happening. Like San
Right.
Francisco police, they decided to take non-lethal situations, domestic disputes, homelessness, these kind of things away from their police department
Yep.
and
Yep.
have a separate agency. And that's progress. We got to count our wins. So
Yeah.
seeing stuff like that just keeps me in a hopeful state of mind rather than a angry, pissed off, hurt state of mind.
You know, I really want to piggyback on something that you said that I think is very key in your entire statement is the fact
Mm-hmm.
of knowing when to like step back
Yeah,
and
definitely.
to separate your
Mm-hmm.
life, especially from social media, because it's a
Definitely.
constant thing and is ongoing. And I never thought about it that way in terms of seeing the many layers that are there, the videos is rehashing
Yeah.
the trauma. And if you
Mm-hmm.
see it so much, there can't be healing, there can't be progress. So
Facts.
I get that. I get that. Um, Wow, that's good. So when you think about the things that you said, do you think it's necessary, as one writer would say, fight or flight? Do you think it's necessary for us to take a flight, or do you think it's necessary for us to fight, or is it a either or both and?
It's a both. It's not an either. You don't have an option right now. This is our generation's civil rights movement.
Yeah,
And the only thing we're lacking are is true definable leadership. You know what I'm saying? You had Malcolm X on one end of the spectrum. You had MLK on one end of the spectrum. You know what I'm saying? You got a couple people like, I think the closest thing is Sean King. Sean King is doing some incredible work.
yeah,
Mark Lamont
yeah,
Hill is doing some incredible work.
yeah,
Michael Eric Dyson. But like on the front lines having this, and it's like, on one hand, I'm like, ooh, we need a definable leadership, which we haven't. On the other hand, I do like the fact that it's a collective
yeah,
stance. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And long as
yeah,
it continues and it's not some fad just because we're in a pandemic, I think this is our time to implement change. There's
yeah,
never been a greater time. So flight is not an option. It should be an option for anyone. Like I
yeah,
have even my white friends and my allies. I'm so glad I'm seeing support, and I don't have to call people out. I don't have to. They like, yo, they posting, they saying stuff, they're calling me, trying to educate themselves, acknowledging, oh, I have white privilege, I don't have this experience. How can I learn from you? How can I be of service to you? That's what it's about. I've actually unfollowed a few friends the other day that I went to high school with that were very vocal about Kaepernick and how that offended the flag. But now with this Black Lives Matter movement, I don't hear you saying nothing. So I sent a nice little message. I'm no, and it's out of love. It's out of love, but just, hey, you know, you were very vocal about this. You even went on my page and all that stuff. And I was respectful enough to respect your stance, even though I completely disagree. But I don't see you doing anything, not saying anything. So to me, you're saying you don't care or you're complicit. So I'm going to follow you, whoop-de-woo. There's no fight or flight. There's a fight. Now, how you fight ranges. I'm a
yeah,
black man. I'm a
yeah,
highly outspoken. I'm an intelligent one. I'm an educated one. You know, I'm
yeah,
nowhere near on the level of Sean King or Mark Hill, these cats that have dedicated their life to it. But I'm figuring out a way to fight it my own way, sharing
yeah,
space with other black men, doing my Real Talk Tuesdays where I talk about this. I got a platform with a great friend of mine, my best friend, who's white and Hispanic. She's an ally. We created a dope platform to help people to share their experiences and for allies to learn from our experiences, so
yeah,
we don't have to keep saying it in person and reliving these traumatic things. So I'm
yeah,
doing my thing, and everybody should be doing something. At the very
yeah,
least, you should be acknowledging and educating yourself on what the hell is going on. So there's no flight. There's no flight. Now there's times to step away and refuel, but that's a conscious decision of saying, you know what, I'm tired of seeing these videos. I saw something earlier where such and such was hung in Palmdale, another person was hung, and it's like lynchings, and it's like it's frustrating and it's angry. And then when I look back on not my research, but on research that people show where there was lynching postcards, bro. There were postcards made of black folks hanging from trees with a group of white people smiling, and this was sent out. This was a postcard. And it wasn't 100 years ago. You know what I'm saying? This is in the last 50 years. Like our grandparents were alive when this stuff was happening.
right,
So when I see
right,
stuff like that, I have to take note. Okay, have a conversation with you, have a conversation with my lady, talk about this stuff to keep my mental health sharp so that I come at this not only at an emotional standpoint, but on a way to add to the conversation. It's not just about self-awareness or building awareness. It's aware. We know this stuff has been going on.
yeah,
What can I personally do to push the cause forward, which is why I tagged team with my friend to create this platform, which is why I'm giving and holding space on a regular basis for black men to talk about this stuff, to kind of decompress. And it's been very cathartic for everybody. So ain't no flight. You fight or you fight with us or you're fighting against us. I ain't trying to get
right,
militant, but that's just the
right.
reality. That's the facts.
Oh man, I certainly agree with you. I think right now flight is not an option. I think we have to get in the ring and fight, like you said, your way. Like
Yeah,
find
yeah,
your
yeah.
way in order to fight. And I will say this: this is for me my creation of fighting. Although yes, I have been marching and doing
Right.
different things, structural wise and institutional wise on my side in terms of like fighting against systematic oppression. But I thought it was necessary to even create a platform to heal. And
Of course.
how do we heal, how do we process, and how do we move forward in this
I
process,
love it. I love that.
and being very clear about what you want. Sometimes you can
Hmm.
be in the ring and fighting, you don't even know what you're fighting for. It's just the hype to be in the ring to fight.
You got to know what we like. We got to, like you said, it's about we trying to win this fight. We're working on winning this fight.
Yeah.
Understanding it's a long fight, and like you said, understand what you're fighting for. What is the end outcome? I love that. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So I only got a few minutes with you, so let me
It's all
rush to
good.
let me talk about your career.
Okay.
Let's talk about your career a little bit before we get to bra.
Yeah.
So how did you start in entertainment? How did you start in modeling, acting, motivational speaker? What
Yeah.
was the start for the person who today is trying to figure it out and see it through your lens? What is the starting point for you? How did you get into it?
Well, all of that, like in full transparency, the modeling, I can't own that. That's a side thing. I'm much more of a
Yeah,
writer, actor,
yeah,
and speaker. Those are
yeah,
the labels I own
yeah,
emphatically.
yeah.
Modeling, yeah, I could do a little bit. That's not my steez, but there was a time, right? But people who want to get into it, it's a hustle. Each
Mm-hmm.
road is different. So let's say speaking real quick. So briefly with speaking. Speaking, for about 4 years, I did a lot of free gigs. I spoke at my old high schools. I spoke at elementary schools. I spoke where whoever would let me speak. I went to a lot of free seminars and courses. And even when I was here in LA, before I had my money together, I'm taking a bus 2 hours to go to this free thing and going back and, having $20 of food for 2 days and figuring that out and packing my lunch. And you got to grind. And then after you get to a point as a speaker, you got to find your unique voice, because everybody's saying the same thing. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
motivational speaker. I'm uplifting. I'm empowered. We're all saying the same thing. But
Yeah,
how can you say it differently, uniquely, with your own voice? So that's what people
yeah.
got to find. And master your craft and your skill. Don't think just because so many people DM me, and who's ever listening, don't do this. Don't do this to me. Don't. I want to be a speaker. Know why you want to be a speaker. Know who you want to talk to. Know why you want to talk to those people. Then go do it. And so for me, it was in college I realized I had a voice, I had a story, and it could impact people positively. So I grinded for those few years, and now I'm making a living off of it. But there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of technical stuff. I'm not even going to bother sharing people the actual technical stuff to get gigs, because if you're not proven and skillful enough, why would I, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to help you get a gig so you make a fool of yourself. You got to master
Mm.
your stuff so you don't get in front of an audience and waste an opportunity, because all my opportunities come from previous opportunities. It's exponential growth. So with speaking, as far as with acting, which is amazing, I'm on 3 different shows right now, and it's a blessing. It's been 8 years though. I got my degrees. I moved to LA with nothing. I slept on couches for a number of years. I worked as security. I worked 3 or 4 jobs at a time just to make way. I did a lot of free stuff. But more than importantly, anybody, especially Black folks, this is something I got to say personally for Black folks. There's a reason our brothers and sisters across the seas and the waters come over and they play these roles that are technically meant for us. You got our brothers and sisters from London and from the UK who are phenomenal. And there's a reason they get these roles, because they are dope in their craft. These are our stories that we should be best fitted to tell, but we're not, because we are talented as hell as a people. We are so talented. And I see so many young actors and older, we're not Black folks, when we rely on our talent too much. We're incredibly talented. Biasly so, we're the most talented fucking people on earth. Excuse my language. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. We are the most, okay, I just want to make sure. We are the most talented people, but there's talent and then there's skill and there's craft. And overseas, that's why you get so many cats coming over who you're like, oh man, that brother must be from Compton. And no, he's from London. He's from Camden. He's from whatever, right? Learn your craft. Learn
Mm.
your skill. That's what you got to do. It's not going to one class. I spent years. I got an acting book right here. I'm rereading in the morning because we've been in a pandemic and we haven't had acting classes. I'm refreshing. I got to stay sharp. So you got to have your skills dope. And the only thing as important is you have to know who you are.
Mm.
The reason why it took me 8 years to be successful, because I kept going in the room asking them to tell me who do you need me to be to get the role, instead of going in now like, yo, I am me. I'm gonna kill this, and I may not get this role, but you will remember me, and you will go out your way to find a role for me, which is exactly what happened. All 3 shows that I'm on right now, I went in for a
Wow.
role, and they didn't give it to me, but I was so good and so prepared and focused that they gave me another role. They gave me another role because they identified, yo, this dude has something to offer. You may not be perfect for this, but you're good. And we're not going to take that opportunity away from you. That's what you got to do. Know who you are. And of course, there's business and all that stuff, but that's a different talk. There's the politics and agents and managers, but people want to start there. Don't start there. Start with your craft and your talent. Build yourself up, because there's a lot of people. I talked to a couple directors. He said, I've chosen people who weren't as good as other actors, but they were so confident and sure about themselves that I felt more confident handing this role to them and putting my ass on the line for them, as opposed to somebody, I see your skill, but I don't know if you can handle the pressure and the responsibility to carry a show or to be a big part of this movie. And I struggled with that. I struggled with confidence. And it wasn't until I had my breaking points where I was like, yo, why am I not shining the way I'm supposed to? Which is why I say take up as much space as your existence will allow. I take up all my space, all of my space. I own it. So, which is why I always get callbacks, which is why I'm on 3 different shows right now, which is why I'm living off of my craft fully. But that's what it takes. So that's what it is for people. That's the unsexy story. You know what I'm saying?
Unsexy story.
It is. There's no, I'm sitting at Starbucks and somebody discovers me because I have a good look. There's none of that. You go to class, you put in the work, you learn your craft, you fail, you get it made a fool out of, you learn yourself, and then you can go in the room fully prepared as yourself. And people do not forget. They do not forget greatness. So make yourself great in every aspect first. So yeah, that's the unsexy way to do all of that. But it's the way it's worked for me, and it's the way I've seen work for a lot of other people.
What has been really amazing for you, or been the drawing point to being a part of the BET Plus family on Tyler Perry's Bro? What has been the draw to being a part of that cast?
Honestly, one thing I got to give to Tyler Perry, and in the industry, is a very polarizing figure. People either can't stand his work because of XYZ, or people absolutely love his work, right? And to be a part of that, one thing you can't deny is that he gives brothers and sisters opportunities that they wouldn't otherwise have. And I can't knock that at all. So when I got this opportunity, I auditioned for like 8 weeks in a row. Every Friday for 8 weeks, my man. I auditioned for a role. I'm like, I ain't get it. I auditioned for a couple roles in Sisters, a couple roles in Rufus, a couple roles in The Oval. And so I got to Bruh, and I realized, yo, they keep bringing me back because I have something, and they're finding the perfect spot for me. And this role, at all his shows, this is the best role for me. I love my cast. All the bros, we are real bros in real life. In fact, yesterday, one of the bros and his lady, we met at the park yesterday. Me and my lady, we just had some wine, had some pizza, and we was chilling. Like, so what you see on the show extends to real life. There was no ego. And that's the one thing about Tyler Perry Studios. Everybody is humble. They are hungry. They are professional. Everything is clean. From the director, Tyler Perry, to the people who clean the bathrooms, everybody is sweet and nice and honest. And it's just like the culture at Tyler Perry Studios is unlike anyone else. I can say that honestly. The culture, you feel welcome. And Tyler works quick. He works faster than anybody else. So there's a tremendous amount of pressure as an actor to make sure not only do you get off book with these lines, but to deliver a riveting, honest, natural performance. And the culture there makes you feel confident, like, yo, I can do this. So that draw, just to be a part of that, and honestly, show me another show with 4 black men that are the stars. You don't.
Say that again.
Show, like, point to a show at any point where you got 4 black men leads, and there's no hyper stereotypical things. There's no toxic masculinity, hyper masculinity, this, that, and the third. You got real, honest, vulnerable brothers in there. You don't see that. There's a couple of movies like The Wood or The Best Man. You got some movies, right? But it's about us and our viewpoint, and you don't get that anywhere else. I haven't gotten that. Look it up. Somebody prove me wrong. Show me a show that has that.
It's not.
You don't. So that was the biggest draw for me. That was the biggest draw. Like, yo, I get to do this, and I get to be a brother showing us in a positive light. It was a blessing, man. I'm so grateful for it. I love my cast. I love what we did, and it's a special show. I think we're on episode 8 right now, and it's ramping up. It's ramping up. Honestly, it's a bit of a slow start just to get some context and stuff. But man, you get through a few episodes to just get the full story of it, and it starts getting more specific. yo, I'm so happy and proud and unapologetically loud about how dope this is
Yeah.
and the implications of what it can have just to show Black men in a positive light.
Yeah, I was really excited just to see the show name when I first saw it, just bruh,
Bruh.
because I felt
Yeah,
like it was
bruh.
just so black, and I love
Yeah.
that fact. And just to see 4 men
Hmm.
operate, communicate, go through life, figure it out, friends, relationship, let's
Hmm.
continue. For me, it was just like powerful,
Yep.
just to see that in existence, because we always see images and stories about our sisters, but very few stories about our brothers.
You don't,
Um,
you, especially with Tyler Perry. He has very strong female voices,
yeah, he
family
does.
voices, and
Yeah,
elderly voices. Not
yeah,
really focus on men's voices, which
yeah,
I'm so blessed to be a part of that. And at all the stuff he's done, what the first type of thing he's done. He's done a lot of different
yeah,
versions of his sweet spot, I would say, where he just
yeah,
knows. He knows how to
yeah,
do this. This is one
yeah,
of those, like, it's kind of outside his norm that people are accustomed to. And I'm so glad I get to be a part of breaking that mold and showing something
yeah.
different. Yeah, I'm lucky, man. I'm incredibly lucky and blessed to be a part of that, bro.
Man, I'm so grateful, honestly, for your time.
Yeah, man.
Amazing conversation. I really hope that futuristically we could do something together.
Uh-huh.
Get you over here to LA, Vision LA, to do something, at least speak and inspire our young people.
Yeah, at
But
some
man,
point when we clean up all this pandemic and get
yeah.
done with the social, hit me up, man. I'm there.
But thank you so much for your time. Any new projects or products or anything you want
Okay.
those who are watching
Um,
and listening to know?
a couple of things. So first, tune in to Bruh on BET Plus every Thursday. Check us out. That's one of the big ones. Season 2 of Games People Play with starring Lauren London on
Yeah.
BET. The moment we get out of this, we're doing that. But most importantly, right now, with the climate we're in, giveadose.co. Give a DOSE.co. It's the platform I was telling you about where it's going to help amplify Black voices.
Mm.
You get to share your experiences from being pulled over by the cops or being Black in an all-white workspace and, dealing with microaggressions, and the list goes on. And I'm going to send it to you personally because I definitely want your opinion on it.
Please.
But that right there, for both Black folks to share their experience and
Yeah.
for non-Black folks, non-people of color to learn from our experiences so they can
Mm.
really understand what we actually have to go through without us having to teach them all the time. And it's a beautiful platform. Giveadose.co. That's what we're using. I'm pumping that out there. This is my way of fighting back. This is my way of educating people on our experience in a healthy, safe way. So yeah, giveadose.co. That's the move right there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Monty
You got it.
Washington, for entering the healing room here in
Hey,
LA.
hey.
I really appreciate it and look forward to doing more. Thank you so very much.
You got to have a blessed one. Peace.